It's happening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much once again for joining us tonight. This is our 11th episode of the first ever online entrepreneurial survival summit. My name is Mulifi Nyofani. I've been entrusted by Mind Think Institute to facilitate tonight's session. I would like to say, to send our apologies on behalf of the scheduled speaker who couldn't actually make it tonight because of unforeseen family commitment. However, as we always know that they say, a good leader is shown all the time, but a great leader is shown in times of crisis. Our own Mr. Big Dreamer decided to chip in tonight to share his wisdom and ideas on how to keep a positive business mindset amid this COVID-19. So without waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the brainchild behind this wonderful summit that has been happening for the past 10 days. I mean, today we are on our 11th session, and we are so honored to have the man who's behind this. So, Mr. Thapelo, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, I can hear you clearly. How are you, my dear brother?
I'm very good, and thank you very much, our dearest brother. Firstly, I would like to say on behalf of Mind Think Institute that we are so honored to have you, and we are so honored. I mean, we understand what it takes to actually organize a summit of this nature. And I mean, we always say, and that is not an understatement, that is the first ever online summit that is happening. And it happens in times, unprecedented times of COVID-19. Yes, we understand what it takes to organize an event of this nature. I know it was just an idea in your head, but you dedicatedly and committedly made sure that you bring it alive. And I want to say personally, myself, I've been so at awe and amazed of your work ethic. Ever since we started on the 1st of June, 7 p.m. we are up. Not 7:05 or 7:10. 7 p.m. we are up, and you make sure that you deliver exactly what you said you're going to deliver with us. So we are very honored and grateful, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for answering the call.
I am humbled, my dear mentor. A lot of people are not aware that we come from the same hometown in and you were one of the generation who showed us that it was really possible to make it without having parents who had a financial muscle. You are one of those generations who had to go and push doors and studied PhD and coming with a concept of social entrepreneur while we're still in school. So it's a privilege and an honor. Funny enough, while I was cooking, I never counted my stomach. Eh? My stomach was really out. I thought of everyone was going to eat and be okay. This was my season where I really thought that I needed to build a content and build a stronger person for the next level. But under his end, he controls everything. However, so I'm delighted, my brother, to be given such an opportunity. And without wasting any time, like you have introduced, my name is Motaung, and I'm the executive director.
Just before you start, I want us to, I mean, I see there are a lot of people joining us. I mean, I even invited some of my colleagues and friends from Canada and my Mandela Fellows from about 6 countries in Africa. I want us to just reflect on something just before you start. I mean, this is the 11th episode of this online survival summit. And I mean, from Dr. Lichuti to Dr. Jabulile yesterday, we've learned so much about positive self-concept, about the broken crayons, about so many topics that were very enriching. And I know you've been like hard at work. I want to ask you, what is one or two of your take off so far? Sorry to put you on the spotlight, but I know you'll be able to share with us. What have you learned so far in this summit?
Look, there is nothing amazing like having an understanding that everything starts broken and you mend it with your time and your attitude. One quote that I love, it says, God gives purpose, but a man determines destiny with their choices. You know, so what has happened, a lot of us come from backgrounds that have broken us for the destiny that God had set. So when Mentoi spoke about even a broken crayon can still color, it really touched me because I understood the art of breaking something. It means it goes into two pieces. Instead of being functional in one place, it becomes multifunctional in two places. Now, your brokenness multiplied the color that you would color in whatever space that you are in. And secondly, we are a generation who doesn't understand the criticism of being turned down. You know, when Ntaten Tokozo said, look, there was a 1 million offer, a lot of us would have jumped that opportunity. But owning something is more valuable than having something that you're going to spend and trade the ownership of something that could have licensed you for the happiness of your future and your child. You know,
that's so true.
Was very crucial. You know, Budelani, my dear brother came, and without absenting the wisdom that was watered by other speakers, but you said three. Budelani came and he not Bulelani, that didn't talk also as well. He came and he said, don't track a dead horse. Don't track a dead horse, because there's two things that happens when you track something that has already died. It's either you're going to die with it or you leave it. You know, so sometimes we tracking dead horses that holds us from the progress of us becoming better people. You are loyal to the blood that you were born with. You are rebuking and ignorant of the calling that brings the happiness to the same people that you are poor with them and sitting with them. So it's very crucial to be understanding, and how we went and chosen our speakers and our topics. It was not based on Ntate and Ntate just come and say everything, but we needed to build a map. We needed to build a formula that would win after 24 days. That's why each and every day we try to bring a speaker with different dimension. We try to ensure that each speaker water a different area. You can have a big tree. You can have a big, huge tree and water only the right and the bit of left corner of it. But at the end of the day, the activity of you choosing areas you water will not be able to replicate it throughout the tree. Once the right part of the tree is Ebola, the roots are in the left that is being. So the tree end up is producing anything. So we have a tendency of watering imbalanced content here. So we try to balance the content to ensure that, you know, when I come out of this, I would be a better person. When I come out of this, there are people who are planning to quit their jobs right now. There are people who are saying, we are really challenged. If a black child with two hands, with one head, with 2 ears and 2 eyes can utter such utterance in such a difficult time, his mindset is so very powerful, because we were taught to know the ingredients, but we don't know the recipe.
Wow. And I can relate with you. It's like you have summed up all the 10 sessions we've had in a paragraph. So without waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us, as the big dreamer Coach Thapelo always say, it's time for us to water our seed of knowledge. So I'm handing over to you, Mwaname. You are our guest speaker today, and we are honored. Can you please take us in how to maintain the positive business mindset amid COVID-19?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. With the respect and acknowledging all the speakers that have spoken, I just want to say, because most of the speakers that have left, they've been in the field before me, and there are people that I've looked forward up to in my journey. But now, what do I bring today? I think I would love to start my presentation by asking this particular question, even though you've made me unpack so many things. But when the name Motaung Thapelo comes to your mind, when the name Thapelo, Big Dreamer Motaung, appears, what is the first thing that comes into your mind? What picture do you see? The first time you saw that today there will be me who will be addressing, what was the first thing that came into your mind? I can just see people quoting this and this and this. All of you are right, but the problem is this: you sing the glory, but you don't know the story of it. So let me take you through the story in the next 30 minutes. Let me start by using this story as a foundation or a framework to my presentation. Entrepreneurship has a character of challenging what we learned or what we were taught. An example of it would be when you do marketing 101, they will tell you develop a product, market a product, and sell a product. But entrepreneurship is not like that. You can't develop a product without understanding the need of your society. You cannot develop a product without understanding where the need is, where you're staying. So where am I trying to bring you? I'm trying to bring you here. In the last 5 years, I was like a seed that needed to look for a place where I was going to plant myself. But what made me different as a seed versus a normal traditional way of a farmer who goes and look for a place, start preparing the soil, digging and plotting the seed and watering the seed out of understanding what the seed is going through. So I was the seed. I had to go look for a place, and I had to jump in the hole that I opened. Meanwhile, pulling the soil that I had taken out to cover me. And every day I fought so hard against the soil, trying to search for the light. Every day I fought so hard because this seed wanted to be exposed to the sunlight. The sunlight, the searching for the sunlight that I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about the event where I was kidnapped, where I was told not to open the same business that has made me and you to know each other. I'm speaking about being closed for 3 hours, beaten up and being told that don't open that business. Secondly, don't be in contact with any of our clients. And then thirdly, don't tell any police of what has happened. And I was told that pack your bags and go back to Twaka, or else and go back home. When I'm speaking about searching for a light, I'm speaking about this seed going against the soil. I'm speaking about the time when I would have a breakfast in bed, I would have a lunch in bed, I would have a dinner in bed, not because I was privileged, but because that bed was the only thing that I had in that room. I'm speaking about searching for a light where I had to challenge the same voice that raised the man that I am. That day I had to stand and say, no, mama, I don't want to go work for someone, but I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to pursue the struggle of this life. I'm speaking about searching for a light that one day I would wake up and not know what else would I eat? What else would I eat? What am I going to eat for that day? Where do I go to look for things? I'm speaking about searching for a light while I'm facing my hero moments, while I'm in my zero moments. while I was facing my hero moments, while I was in my zero moment. There is something about a vision. There is something about a vision that always crossed my mind, because vision contradicts reality. Look, the vision shows you the nice world, the nice juice, the honey, the wines, and the grapes. But the reality is that you don't even know what you're going to eat. You simply don't even have that 10 rent or palama to the next town to go and try to sell it and convert whatever service or whatever goods that you have. Everyone, I know that in each and everyone's mind now, the question is, what compelled you? What made you to keep going? It is one thing: maintaining a positive mindset that emitted challenges. Everything is wrapped in itself. Everything is wrapped in itself. The orange that I want, it's inside, but it's wrapped with a cover. I had to overcome things that I had to overcome so then I can be celebrated. Say that was a framework. Let me start my presentation. I'm one of the people who were very good in mathematics at high school. So the easiest way of me keeping things in my mind is by using mathematics formula. So this is what I want to say. Personal resistance equal business survival. Personal resistance equals business survival. Personal defeat equals business failure. It is impossible for your business to survive what your mind and your capacity can stand. It is impossible for your business to survive what your mind and your capacity cannot stand. My topic is simple: maintaining a positive mindset emitting challenge. We need to understand the art of weights. We need to understand the arts and science of weights. Let me break it down with my topic. Let me first speak about maintaining. The word maintaining, it means there's two things that are happening. Something was built, and whatever that was built was working. So for the reason that is working, it has to be continued. So maintaining, it means there was building and there needs to be continuously because it is working. So sometimes it means we cannot maintain what we never built. We cannot maintain what we never built. We cannot build what we never make time for. How we spend our time affects our resistance during the breaking moments. Breaking moments are necessary for breakthroughs, because breakthroughs moments, if you address the breaking moments with a positive perspective. Now the question is, positive business mindset emitting challenge. How do you do that? I'm going to pass that to you, 4 nuggets, and then I'm out of your space. I hope that people are still following. What was the first thing that I had to do? Why was I able to defeat the kidnap? Why was I able to stand against my mother's voice? Why was I able to wake up every day without having anything? Like in the day of I didn't have anything. Like there was no car, there was no clothes, there was no big house. I was staying in one room where I was doing everything. What was so strong in me that kept me going? My conviction was more than the results that I wanted. My conviction was more than what the results I wanted. What was the first thing that I did? I understood that in the state of my zero pursuing my hero moments, I had to own my dream. I had to own my dream. A dream, one of the coaches once said this: a dream is an energizing picture. It means that I cannot dream and remain stationary. I cannot dream and remain stationary. You cannot achieve a dream that you don't own. It's impossible to achieve a dream that you don't own. So your dream might be very small to you, but your dream is very good, it's very big with God. But do we even understand what is a dream? Because sometimes we speak about dreams, sometimes we speak about visions. You know, there's so many that we use words interchangeably. So this is what I learned to understand. This is a formula that I wrote after understanding these words. And then the formula goes like this. D plus D equals to G. D plus D equals to G. While G plus S equals to P. P plus PT equals to A. The whole equation, A equals to R. What am I trying to say? This is what I'm saying. A dream with an expiring date equals a goal. If you dream without a set period or a set time, this dream should have been achieved at an X time, then it won't become a goal. This goal, this is a dream with a set date, it is called a goal. So this goal broken down to steps, it becomes an action. This action, this plan put into action equal, let me repeat it. A dream with an expiring date becomes a goal. A goal broken down to steps becomes a plan. A plan put to action becomes a plan put to action becomes an action. And that action becomes a reality. So the question that I was once asked was this: if your dream was a person, what would that person look like? If your dream was a person, what would that person look like? That person that defeated everything that you came across. That person who made you to wake up every morning hungry, but still keep on going. After understanding ownership of the dream, the second thing, I needed to create environment. I needed to create a great environment for this dream. We can't live beyond the level of our exposure. We can't live beyond the level of our exposure. What we see every day, what we read every day, what we hear every day, it determines the level that we live. Creating environment challenged me to excel. When I'm in my house, when I'm in your family, in my bedroom, I have a nice wall. It has 9 pictures. It has a CA goal. It has John Maxwell goal. It has a spiritual scripture that supports my academic excellence. It has a car. It has a house. And then on the far left, it is 2 quotes, and between them is a picture of me and my child. The top picture on top of my child, it says, what you say and you do to your child, it is what your child will do to their kids. So what we teach our sons, we teach our sons' sons, you know. Then the below quote, it says, a child will always act on their father's action and doings. So what we do when our kids are around, it's what they will do. That picture, it makes it difficult for me to go sleep at 7 o'clock. Wow. That picture makes it difficult for me to come and sit in my bed and not do anything. I created an environment that challenges me to excel. The resources of those pictures, they feed my future. Every time I go sit, I get reminded of them. What you expose yourself to, explore and explode you for the area that you feed. What you expose yourself to, explore and explode you for the area that you explore. Your environment should bring you to life. When I go to my office, when you get into my office, my wall is full of my certificates. They always remind me as how hard I've worked. They always remind me, Thapelo, you started from nothing. Now you something. You can't give up. Still continue to learn. That's why I believe in the saying, long life readers are long life leaders. We will not bring continuous solutions until we read every day. So my environment always provoked me to excel. I was not in an environment I see pictures of people who have passed away in my wall. I know that you love them. They're still part of your life. But what does it do to your psychology? They're still you at the end of the day. I needed an environment that speaks to me. When you open my phone, the cover, it's a car that I want to drive. Every time when I open my phone, I introspect my activities, whether are they going to make my future smile with that car? Or am I just autopiloted? I just wake up and go everywhere. Your walls, your phones, your office. I remember one speaker, especially when you draft your vision board, put it in a place where you know you spend most of the time. If you shower hollow, if you sleep a lot, put it right there on top of your bed, or each time because research shows that we are picture driven. We always get attracted to what we see. So your environment, if you don't create it, the world will create an environment for you. Thirdly, the third nugget that I want to speak about, working on improving my habits. There is so much that we have built from people that have reached us. But there is one, a proverb that I love that says, they own you until you are 18 years. After 18 years, you decide for yourself. So 18 years allowed me a time to empty what my parents has taught me. And it allowed me to create with my hands what will make me profitable in the future. You are what you consistently do. You are what you focus, and what you focus on grows. So let's look at how you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, the first thing that you do, you get your phone, or my data, or my airtime, to spend time on other people's timeline. What do I do? Conversation with winners. That was the first thing that I was taught. Spend time on God's timeline. So then God can start having time to go deposit in your inbox. You know? Because you wake up in the morning, the whole day you carry skoloto. And how are you going to produce? How are you going to produce? The second thing in improving my habits, I had to look at how do I spend my time? How do I spend my time? Time is a commodity of destiny. What affects time affects destiny. So the first thing that we do with a group of people that I mentored and coach, we do what we call the 16 minutes power moment with myself. 16 minutes power moment with myself. The world is very busy. Everyone is busy. When you wake up in the morning without doing anything or calling anyone, you just sit in your bed and you ask yourself these three questions. What am I grateful for to wake up this morning? Now, what makes us to be terrified spiritually and even physically is that we don't have things that we're grateful about. When you fail to celebrate and share your successes, people will find it easy to speak about your negatives, and then it will drop you. So in the 16 minutes, I sit and I think about what am I grateful about? That fuels my joy and happiness. The second question that I ask myself, where do I want to be at the end of this day? Where do I want to be at the end of this day? Why am I asking myself such a question? Because where you are regulates who gets your intervals throughout the day. Where you want to be at the end of the day controls where you spend your time. Where you want to be at the end of the day controls who speaks to you, who doesn't speak to you. The third question, are my activities that I want to achieve for the day aligned to the longer goal that I've set? Are the activities that I've set for the day going to speak to that goal that I have set? So gratefulness, it's one of the simplest tools that you use to empower yourself. Look, our destiny is empowered by our routine, our schedule, and our consistency in doing them. Consistency fuels confidence. You can't develop confidence in things that you never spend your time in. One of the examples that I was doing, not even in a bad way, I cannot always speak in reference and marketing other people. I'm taking myself for granted. I need to start dwelling in conversation that I speak about myself and reference myself. You spend the whole 24 hours, you speak about people. Joe, TV, after you leave that one, you go to the second person that you meet in the afternoon. You, Motaung bought a new car. At night you go, hey, where do you find position to speak about yourself and think that you will have confidence? There is no way. Start dwelling into conversation where you speak about yourself. I can't always market Mark Zuckerberg. I can't always market Bill Gates. Where do I put myself? I have to have a pride enough to say to you, understand one thing. In the next 3 years, I'll be a qualified CA. In the next 3 years, I'll be a John Maxwell accredited speaker, trainer, and coach. In the next 3 years, I'll be holding a PhD in leadership. That's me speaking about myself. And because this is one art. We need to measure how we use weights. If it is difficult, if it costs so much to take the body there, send the mind, it's free. You send the mind there for free. The mind will send the invitation to the body in the process of being, So it is difficult to develop confidence in conversation that you don't want to talk. Yes, business was not profitable. I didn't have a car. I remember one time, I was going back to Welcome, how it is structured. Town, it's out of Kasi. Kasi is a bit far. And I was staying in the lowest location before it's out of Welcome. That where there's a lot of shacks and so forth. Look, this guy has a qualification. He's a qualified accountant. This guy 10 of 4 offers of getting paid. This guy market related. He was supposed to earn 17,000, but he chose to stay in one room and pursue and eating all those broken bottles because he felt the dream was compelling enough. This gentleman in a taxi, leaving town, going to where he was staying, a lady said, "Oh, accountant, but udulakas. Or accountant, but you don't have an office, or accountant, but you don't have a car." And I said, don't paralyze what is in a blessing in nature, because blessings are they lack the nature of visibility. Blessings are not things that we can touch. So I said to her, you know what? In me becoming in a state of becoming a better person, I've already owned those things. Don't worry. That's why certain people, they question, when you just bought something but you're not happy. I've been having that thing for the last 4 years. When you just see the physical presence of it, but psychologically it has been there. So you cannot develop confidence where you don't have conversation about it. And sometimes it requires you to have a conversation with it by yourself. Number 4, which is the last nugget. In maintaining a positive mindset that assists you to build a winning mechanism for any challenges, I needed to understand the art of success that sits in helping someone. I needed to understand the art of success that sits in helping someone. There's a very profound principle that say, sometimes what you have can work for someone and not work for you at that time. When I started this organization, the accounting firm, I sat with people who had money, but they used my advisory to build up their money while I was broke. Sometimes a gentleman would come. I remember the first breakthrough that I had gave me 2,000 after 4 months of struggling. That guy owed SARS about 1.6 million. And every accountant in the space where I was could not find the solution. And I said to this gentleman, can you give me those books? At least give me a deposit of 2,000. Because look, I was owing rental for that one place. That guy was always running away from me, you know. But look, I always had the list of taking me where I will be able to source content that will fit me. So when this guy said, Mona, but he had a problem, I said, it's fine. Give me the books and give me a month and pay me a deposit of 2,000. I took these books and I went and did them. At the end of the second month, I called them, we went to SARS. When we got there, they said, sir, you are now owing SARS 86,000 from that million, you know? So sometimes what is going to work for you will need to work for someone before it works for you. So you understanding the art of that, you should understand one thing. Once I make you feel good, my feel good bank balance goes up. And when you feel good, you do good. So there's a point where sometimes if we can't earn money, we need to earn the happiness. Don't allow yourself to miss the boat, you know, because there is a season. I'm sorry, I will be market disadvantaging myself if I want to bring the speaker and the entrepreneur me and leave the Christianity me, you know. This is packaged, this is who I am, this is how I speak. You need to understand sometimes when you do something for someone, when the angels comes at 12 coming down to collect the feedback for the day, they find Mr. Nyofane laughing and they say, hey, he's happy. What's going on? Because we had to do something. So when they go back to give the Lord the report, the Lord said, look, for that he has done, I will do unto you. That's why the most used words are that whatever you make happen to others, God will make happen to you. So in closing, my brother, I'm looking at the time. It's very dangerous to give a speaker a time frame because I will speak until. So in closing, this is what I want to bring to everyone. I know that we come from diverse backgrounds, but this is what worked for me in maintaining my mindset. I'm going to share with them the 4 P's, then I'm closing. The first P is for prayer. An entrepreneur whose prayer is a habit, victory becomes a lifestyle. An entrepreneur who uses prayer as a habit, victory becomes a lifestyle. The second P is for patience. It's a poor spiritual hygiene to give everyone access to you, but not give the same spirit that was blown in you when you were born to have access of you. It's poor spiritual hygiene to give everyone access to you, but not give access the same spirit that was blown into you when you were born. But once you give spiritual awareness, you develop the fruits of the spirit. And one of the fruit of the spirit is patience. Patience. That is the second P. Once I pray, once I become patient and understand in him things we have to wait for, I develop positivity. I develop positivity because I understand why I have to wait. But in my waiting, I'm still praying and I'm still waking. I'm not relying on the holy water to do functions of the hands. Because sometimes we tend to render God impossible by using his scriptures where human effort was expected to be functional. So positivity is driven by praying and also understanding that I have to be patient. And the last one, once you become prayer, you become patient, and you develop positivity, then possibility starts to open.
Wow.
Never allow what is wrong with you to hold you from worshiping what is right with God.
Wow.
Now, it's not that sometimes it's because our mind failed to host our dreams. That's why our dreams cannot become a reality. Say, my name is Motaung, Thapelo, and I think I execute, then I dominate. I'm out. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Keep rolling, sir. Keep rolling for us. I mean, this is so mouthful. This is so mouthful, and we are grateful that you shared this wisdom with us. I mean, from own your dream, create an environment for it, and improve your habit to 4 Ps. I mean, this is so incredible. Thapelo, I have a concern. We are in this crisis of COVID-19, and I mean, you have shared techniques and tools on how do we maintain a positive mindset, more especially business-wise. So how does one, I would love you to speak to entrepreneurs about how does one maintain a balance between the exposure of negativity. You know, when you open the news, they talk about the statistics of COVID, how many people are infected, but over and above that, they also share about the economic impact that it has on entrepreneurs. So no one has actually, I don't see media covering aspects of how do we survive post-COVID, more especially mentally. You know, like this crisis has affected so many entrepreneurs psychologically and mentally, and even material-wise. So how do we maintain that positive picture that you have taught us to create? I mean, you spoke about putting your achievement on board, putting this on board, but how do I just shut the noises of negativity around me and just zero into that particular picture of my future?
I'm hoping that I would be answering your question in speaking about me. I only know the best of me, and I can only give you what I gave myself. So look, there is something that I learned to understand. I might not recall the scripture well, but the scripture in Romans 10, where it speaks about faith comes by hearing, you know, and if faith comes by hearing, it means that there is someone who speaks and there is someone who listens. So the disadvantage of it in that work, if the person who speaks with less weights, if the person who speaks, he's speaking from a point of empowering your excuses, that person kills the possibility sitting in you.
Wow.
So what I tend to do, we are living in a very big, in a global space, but in a local existence. So with your DSTV, you get access to all the news. You wake up in the morning, you haven't mastered the pattern of what makes you win in the morning. I always tell my group that if you master your attitude in the morning, it sets your winning tone for the day. So when you wake up, you haven't exposed yourself to anything positive. How to FM? When you open FM, they speak about a 34-year-old who raped 8 months child. What does it do to your psychology? Because from the time you leave your house, everyone you come across, you're going to speak about that. That's why you find taxi drivers. That is one of the people who are loyal to what they're doing. They can spend 40 years driving a taxi because every news that comes, you know what they do? They share with everyone that comes in the taxi. And them speaking about it, they don't understand what they are watering it, they are growing it. We are regulated under disaster management in terms of where we have to be, at what time we have to be there, and what we should be doing there. But you can't regulate your hearing power.
Yeah.
You allow every voice to speak to you. The voice that I allow to speak to me, it has to be a voice that empowers me for the next level of challenge that I'm going to come across. When I started the business, nobody told me that, Thapelo, you need to go and research strategies and ways that can win for you. But that came from the people that I was listening. So I wasn't casual with my approach of listening. You become a casual product because you have intake process of casuality. So sometimes what kills the seeds of us progressing is not so much of what is available, but it is what we allow to come in our space.
Wow. Thank you very much, Coach Thapelo. This is so incredible. You've answered it very well, Mwanamme. Let me go, in the interest of time, I want to go to our audience to take their questions. Bongi Wembele says, oh, wow, vision construct the reality. And Joseph Kubi say, find time to speak about yourself. Shoo, we are Shisala. The other, Amu the hero, Mudisa says, fire presentation. Take each day as it comes with a positive attitude. So,
can I just jump in, Monta, in your fun way? Okay. Look, yes. I am sorry just to come in when Tademudisa is saying, take one moment at a time. What COVID-19 has done has cut off all the strategies, long-term strategies that we are trying to deploy into our business. It has made them very impossible. So take this to your real life. The problem is we want to live for future results, but we ignore the moments now.
Yeah,
that's a conversation that I was having with my winners and the team. You know, sometimes you have to ignore what tomorrow will bring because you understand that the foundation of tomorrow is set by today. That's why I always say, don't monitor the outcome at the end of the year. Look at what you do in the second, but because you become a product of it in a minute. Look at what you do in a minute because you become a product of it in an hour. Look at what you do in an hour because you become a product of it in a day. Look at a day because you become a product of it in a week. Look at what you do in a week because you become a product of it in a month. Look at what you do in a month because you become a product of it in a year. In 2006, when they announced that South Africa will be hosting 2010 World Cup, I was one of the people who said, by that time, I'll be driving Mercedes-Benz. At that time, I'll be staying in a big house. By that time, I'll be married to Kim Kardashian, what. Look, reality hit. Reality hit. 2010 came, and I was literally nothing. I was nothing. I had nothing. Now we're 10 years later after the World Cup, and you're still nothing. If your sense, the sense of your pocket cannot finance the sense of your brain, the sense of your brain will never fill up with the sense of your pocket more. We need to understand the relationship. So we need to live for the moment, building the moment for the person that you want to become in the future.
Wow. Thank you, Ndade. Let me take other few because I see the chat levels is on fire. Jabulile Nhlapu says, Ndade Motaung, as you have said that to start off your entrepreneurship journey, you had to go against your mother's wishes. Did you at any point of this journey hit rock bottom and be mocked for the decision that you have made? And if you did, how did you manage to move from such space?
Look, there will always be a time where you will feel that you will go back. Because the relationship that you become loyal to, especially the blood, you are used to receiving calls every day. You are used to getting assistance every day. By a simple choice that you tend to practice. I was the first one in my whole clan to become an entrepreneur. So to them, because I'm doing something that is against them, you know. And secondly, for the reason that I had just recently qualified as an accountant, but now I want to pursue this struggle. It means whenever I call you, I'll be looking for tools. So it gave me so much distance. But let me tell you what the distance afforded me. The distance afforded me a relationship with God that I never had.
Yeah.
And once you understand, once you get connected with him, you get to understand what there's destiny helpers. There's people that God has put in different intervals who are going to assist you. You know, there is times when I would feel like I would give up. I remember in the 1 minute and I know you're against time. I remember when I was in the edge of giving up, and then I called my mother out of a random question because I was scared of saying, "Hey, mom, it's difficult now." So she just said, "Look, the only thing that my mother gave me, because we didn't have so much, but she installed the spirit of praying in me." Then she said, "The way you speak like someone who has lost faith. Go to the nearest church. Go to any church, you know. Go to any church and just listen." I went to that church, and then the pastor, that was the church that I don't know. And then I said for the second service. As the second service came, the pastor said, "But when in the first service, they know that I was preaching the word. But right now, I feel that I don't have to preach the word. I have to pass the message." And the message was, "Don't give up. I see those cars. I see those houses. I see you becoming better and growing." And in summarizing all of it, at the end, when I went and said, "I feel that I was the person that you spoke to. Abare, you are not starting a business. You are starting a ministry, because you're going to change people through the business." So there were times, but because we don't always value what happens against us. So what we did, Corey, I allowed the Holy Spirit to pull me in the direction that it wanted me to go.
Yeah. Wow. Thapelo, thank you very much. In the interest of time, can I please just go through some of the comments as our Culture in Mind Think Institute, that we need to acknowledge everyone who contribute to the talk. Ms. Mpo Nebutalo says, "I love what you said about information we allow to filter in and being intentional about what info we consume." Powerful stuff. And another person said, "Thank you so much for this presentation, Abuti. Those of us who were literally helped by you appreciate your success." And Lindy says, 4 Ps, 4 Ps, very powerful, thank you. And we have in a Q&A platform, we have Mr. Jason, who says, "It's not ignorance, but knowledge, which is the mother of all wonders." So during this time, let's fight the sand until we win. And Mr. Makoba Uri, what kept you going? I think in just 3 seconds, in just 30 seconds, can you please just wrap up and tell us what kept you going? I mean, from the story that you've shared of being kidnapped and always maintaining the vision that one day I am going to penetrate this industry. I mean, by the way, that story really touched me. It's not my first time hearing it from you, but it really touched me that the very same thing that you were born with, the very same thing that you were passionate with even in school, when you wanted to exploit it, to commercialize it, because you believe it's a gift, then you met with adversity and people kidnapping you, having been threatened that if you go into this, you would go home with a hearse. I mean, that is incredible. You broke through all those boundaries. I mean, we would love to know, as your audience, what kept you going.
2 things. I acknowledge Mr. Makoba is one of my mentors, people who have been with me for so many times, my business partner, and there's a lot that he has said over my ears while I was broke, and it made me rise. Two, the picture of success, it's an energizing picture. That picture that you have should make it difficult for you to say no and quit.
Wow. Well, thank you, Mr. Thapelo. I really, really appreciate this time with you. I know that we have run out of time, ladies and gentlemen, but you know, we just had to accommodate and hear wisdom from Coach Thapelo, Big Dreamer. Thank you very much for joining us once again. We see your comments, we see how many people have attended, and we are so grateful. And I just want to make these two announcements. Tomorrow's time, as always, on weekends, we are up here 9 a.m. It's not actually 7 p.m. I made a big mistake last week. Last week, I waited on Saturday, 7 p.m., and I had to call Coach Thapelo and say, what happened today? What happened? Our internet is not working. Why are we not up? And he reminded me that on Saturday, the times I actually slightly. So those who have been with us, I know you might actually miss this, but tomorrow we have an interesting guest speaker who's going to talk about whatever happened with spaza shops. Have you ever asked yourself that? Whatever happened with spaza shops? So we are so excited to have him tomorrow. 9 a.m. is going to water our seed of knowledge. So we will see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Abudi.